Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, February 20th. Just a brutally cold day here in the eastern part of the nation. Record low temperatures all over the place, including some in the Mid-Atlantic region. That includes State College, Pennsylvania at -8 degrees. BWI Airport in northern Maryland dropped down to 1 degree above zero, a record low. Probably the most impressive, Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C., dropped to 5 degrees above zero this morning. That broke a record that held there since 1896. Just some incredible temperatures this morning. Trenton, New Jersey broke a record. Wilmington, Delaware broke a record. And these could be added to over the next hour or two, as we're still kind of at the low part of the morning here in terms of temperatures. 32 degrees being reported this morning all the way down into southern Florida. Welcome to spring training. You can see here, this is the latest map from coolweather.com. These are not all record lows. Some of these are near record lows, but nonetheless a widespread area from the upper part of the Midwest all the way down into South Florida, even all the way down right here. Key West, Florida this morning broke a record low, 49 degrees all the way down into Key West. Hatteras here in North Carolina is breaking a monthly low temperature record for the month of February. Just a very impressive Arctic air outbreak. And what makes this even more impressive is some of these temperatures are quite amazing given the fact that this is late February. Usually these kind of temperatures occur perhaps in late January. Climatologically speaking, late January is the coldest time of the year. But here we are, February 20th, with some amazing cold throughout the eastern part of the nation. Well, we could talk a long time on the cold this morning because in some cases it's a historic cold air outbreak, but we have a lot of moisture headed our way, and given these extremely cold temperatures, the very cold ground conditions, that spells a recipe for some problems later Saturday and Saturday night. It looks like there will be accumulating snow somewhere in the 2 to 5 inch range for the big cities of D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City. The higher amounts in that range to the north and west, the lower amounts to the south and east. Of course, not everything is set in stone. That is kind of a preliminary snowfall estimate, somewhere in the 2 to as much as 5 inches on Saturday into Saturday night. Then the snow will change to a period of icing, sleet, and freezing rain, and ultimately perhaps just plain rain with above freezing temperatures by the time Sunday morning rolls around. So let's walk through last night's Zero-Z GFS model run. This is from the tropicaltidbits.com website. The precipitation type is colorized here, where blue represents snow, the pinks represent a mixed bag of sleet and freezing rain, and the green represents plain rain. This is the forecast from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run for 1 a.m. tonight, and then we'll walk through it from there. Wanted to start off at this point because here we have high pressure sitting right on top, basically, of the I-95 corridor. Even though the core of the coldest air has moved on by, it'll still be very cold tonight because initially there'll be somewhat clear skies, at least from northern Maryland up northeast across the New York City region. Mostly clear skies this evening. That combined with high pressure sitting right on top of us will lead to calm conditions. The recipe for temperatures to drop, especially in snow-covered areas. So tonight and into early tomorrow will be brutally cold once again, with single digits very likely as we begin the day on Saturday. Here's the onset of the precipitation by the middle of tonight into the Ohio Valley. Let's now walk through. Here's 6 hours later. These are 6-hour increments. By early tomorrow morning, precipitation not quite into the D.C. metro region here, but it comes pouring in. Here's the 1 p.m. forecast map. By this time, it should be about to snow, if not already have begun in D.C. and in Philadelphia here. During the midday hours, it looks like snow will push into the D.C. and Philly metro regions, not until late afternoon in New York City. And there will be quite a thumping of snow at the onset of this precipitation event. That's where our accumulations will occur, at the front end here, before any changeover, first to sleet and freezing rain, and perhaps ultimately to plain rain with above freezing temperatures by Sunday morning. Let's now jump ahead another 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for early tomorrow night, about 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Still snowing at this time in Philly and New York City. A mixture starting to develop in the D.C. metro region. Again, once that, by the time the mixture develops of sleet and freezing rain, I expect anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow accumulation, mainly during the midday and afternoon hours in D.C., during the afternoon, early evening hours in Philly, late afternoon, early evening hours in New York City. 6 hours later, by the middle of tomorrow night, about 1 a.m. Sunday morning, already showing up as plain rain up and down the I-95 corridor. This may be a little bit too fast here. There will be a period of icing in between the accumulating snow and the plain rain, most likely late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, perhaps even into the late evening hours up across New York City. Ultimately, it looks like a changeover to plain rain, at least from the big cities south and east, by the time Sunday morning rolls around. But again, it looks like fairly significant accumulating snowfall on the front end of this weekend precipitation event. Right now, looking like somewhere in the 2 to as much as 5 inch range category here. Again, with the higher amounts in that range to the north and west. The farther north and west you live in the I-95 corridor, the more snow you can expect tomorrow, and a little bit less to the south and east. So a lot going on here. Probably the coldest day of the year today, with numerous record low temperatures this morning, and an accumulating snow event coming tomorrow to much of the entire of the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Philly to New York City. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.